and we'll start with the class now. So I think since I think we have done this in the morning, I'll not go back to review the entire module. Well, these are the last few slides in the module. With this, we'll be done with this module, and then I'll take one Python session. After that, we'll move on to the last module of the chapter. Okay, that is linear equations, nonlinear equations. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the thing. Um, so at least I think I'll review this part. I told you that we human beings, we use a decimal system, 10 digits, and the place values are powers of 10. 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, and 100,000. Whereas in computers, we use decimal system, no, binary system. There is only 2 digits, okay, and then the place values are going to be, for example, yeah. If I tell you that this is a binary number, okay, see, if I write this number in our system, you will immediately identify that this is 100 plus 110 plus 1, 111. But if I tell you that this is a binary number, then you have to understand, in decimal number, the place values are, this is 10 to the 0 or ones, 10 to the ones or tens place, 10 to the twos or hundreds place. Similarly, in binary system, when you have only 2 digits, the number place looks like this. This will be ones place, this will be twos place, this will be fourth place. So what you have here is 1 4 1 2 plus 1 1. This is actually 7. This is 7 in decimal system. I think I'll write somewhere here. In binary system, this is what numbers will look like. This is 1, and this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, and then this is 9, this is 10. See, I think this is where I stopped in the morning at close to here. As convenient as this looks, this is only good for integers, right? This is only good for integers. What about the floating point numbers? Now, what about real numbers? In decimal system, comparing with what we discussed there, if I have a number 5 point or 56.7843, see this place has a value of 1, and this is tens place. That is to the left of the decimal point. The farther you go from the decimal point, the power of 10 increases. To the right, it decreases. So after this, it will become 10 to the negative 1, or this is tenths place, 10 to the negative 2, hundredths place, this 10 to the negative 3, thousandths, not thousands, thousand, okay, 10,000 place, okay, because you know that this is 0.7 plus 0.08 plus 0.004 plus 0.0003. Okay, this. How do you store this kind of numbers when you have real part to it, when they are real numbers? For that, I told you in the morning that what we do is we normalize the number. What is the meaning of normalization? I told you, you have to manipulate the number and write it in terms of 10 powers to the extent that you will have to bring the you want to make sure that the decimal point it comes in front of the first non-zero digit, the leftmost non-zero digit. In front of that digit, you want to move the decimal point. When you do that, then of course, for that manipulation, you'll be adjusting the exponent. You can move it by adjusting the exponent, right? For example, here, originally the dot was here. You wanted to bring it here because this is the leftmost non-zero digit. If you bring it there, to bring it there, you have to multiply with 10. So you'll also have to divide it with 10. When you multiply this, it becomes that, and then we have to say into 10 to the negative 1. When you normalize it, you'll say 0.59864, this one, times 10 to the negative 1. Originally it is 0.01. And here you have 91645.283. To normalize it, you want to push this dot decimal point forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. Okay, so you divide with 10 to the 5, it will become that, and then you have to multiply with 10 to the 5. See, that 10 to the 5 appears 0.91456 91645 times 10 to the negative 5. So once you normalize, then you'll get a clear picture of what you need to store. So what the strategy that is used in computers to store this number is you store these digits. After normalizing, whatever digits you have, this is called mantissa. Okay, and then in the process of normalization, you're adjusting the exponent. Once this mantissa is adjusted, the way you like, the way you like is it's to start with a non-zero digit. Okay, then this is called exponent or characteristic. This is mantissa or significand, exponent or characteristics. Okay, so when you are storing real numbers in a computer, see, if you are storing an integer, it is straightforward. You just store these numbers. If you want to store 7, you just store this. No, let's say you're allocating 8 digits for storing an integer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you want to store 7 in it, you'll say that is 7 and rest of them are zeros. Okay, and anyway, I think integers are much more easy. I'll not deal with it, but at least you should know what is the limitation. The limitation is, this is ones place, twos place, fours place, eights, 16s, 32s, and then 64, 128. Okay, so the largest number, if you are keep, okay, and let's not keep this one because we want sign also. Let us keep it for sign. Okay, if you are allocating a space of 1 byte, which is 8 bits to store an integer, so one of those bits you'll use to store the sign of the to store the sign of the integer, and the rest of them you can use it for the other ones. the actual magnitude. So you see, what you can store is 64 plus 32, that's 96, plus 16, that is 118, 118 plus 8, that is 126, 120, 30, 133. So the maximum number you can store is 133 positive, and the minimum number you can store is negative 130. I think it has to be 131. I'm sorry, 64 and 132. Right? 131. I made a correction simple. So the only thing you have to understand is, depending upon how much memory we are putting aside to store these arrays, there is going to be a limit on the range of numbers that can be stored. Okay, if you we don't do that, but if you do with only 1 byte, at least you should know that these are the range of, we can, using this you can store numbers only in this range, negative 131 to positive 131. In some cases, some computers allow this. If you know that your numbers are always positive, then you can store this for, you can also use it for just the magnitude. Forget about the sign. It's called unsigned integers. Languages like C support that. In that case, even with these 8s, 64 and 132, and I think that is 2. No, I'm sorry, I think this is to 127. This is 127. I don't know why I said 132. It's 127. I thought that number was looking unfamiliar. Okay, 127, and then the number goes from 0 to 255. If it is unsigned integer, you can store 0 to 255. It is a signed integer, then you can store from negative 127 to positive 127. Okay, so this is the story there. Integers is easy, that's all you have to know. But what do you do with the real numbers? I told you real numbers, we normalize them. So there is going to be a mantissa, and then there is going to be an exponent. Exponent is an integer along with a sign, and mantissa is a fraction. It may have sign also. Okay, so real numbers are stored as two-part mantissa or significant and exponent or characteristics, two parts. Okay, characteristic or exponent, it's an integer. Mantissa is a fraction, and both of them have a sign also. Okay, they have to have a sign as well. So here's an example of how do you do the normalization. So here's how, I think I have shown you some examples in the previous slide, but here I'm showing you again. If you have a number like this, the idea is you have to take the decimal point to the, so that it is in front of the first non-zero decimal on the left, non-zero digit on the left. So if you take it there, then you are dividing it with 10 to the 5. So you multiply with 10 to the 5. So this number in computer, when it goes in, it gets stored as this 134,587 in the place of mantissa and 5. So this is positive, and this is also positive. And this number, when it goes to the computer, you have to do normalization 1, 2. So you're multiplying with 100. So you have to divide with 100 also. So this number in computer, it will be stored as this. Okay, 0.78932187 and negative 2. So this is what gets stored in the computer. Now we don't need to keep that 0, just this part and that part. Okay, and here in this case, this part and that part positive. This is negative 2. Okay, now so when it goes into the computer, this is what it looks like. Again, there has to be some limit. We have to talk about in terms of bits. Okay, So how many digits? So let's say a total of this many digits are we are allowing some number of digits to store the real number. From that allocation, we have to keep one for storing the sign of the number. Okay, so generally if it is 0, we say it's a positive sign number. You can have any convention, but one possibility is if it is 0 here, you know that the number is positive. If it is 1 here, you know the number is negative. Then we have to have certain number of places to store the exponent. See, exponent is an integer. So depending on the number you store here, that will limit the range of exponents you have. I just told you, right? If you have 8 digits to store the exponents that you can store are negative 127 to positive 127. See, if this is 8, then that is the only that's the only range you can store. You cannot have a number with exponent of negative 256, for example. There's always a limit, right? You cannot go, you cannot go wherever you want. You have to draw the line somewhere, and you say, okay, this is what I'm allocating, and whatever the limitations it has. I just understand the limitations. That thing has to be there. Now, then comes the mantissa part, and this is where you store the fraction. And storing the fraction, I think this is where I was telling you. Storing the fraction is a different thing. See, I told you 2896.5432 So the place values here are, this is thousands, this is hundreds, this is tens, and this is ones. To the right, it's going to be, this is 1/10, this is 100, this is 1000, this is 1/10,000, and the last one is 100,000. Okay. Similarly, if I have a binary number 10111010111, let's say, some binary number, and this place, right? I told you this is ones place, twos, this is fours or 2 squares, this is eights place, this is 16's place. What is this place going to be? Anyone? See, you go with the same analogy. You're going that way, it is positive powers of 10, and this way, what is it going to be? What is this place? What is the place value of 1 here?
1.
No, go with this here. This way it is increasing. Each time it's getting multiplied by 10. If you go this way, 10, 1000, 10, I'm sorry, 1000, 100, 10, 1, and then 1/10, 100. So each time you go to the right, we are dividing the place value by 10, 10, 10, right? So what will you divide it by here?
By 10.
Sir, 1 by 1.
1 by 2 actually, and somebody said that 1 by 4, 1 by 8, 1 by 16, like that. Now another way of looking at it is, see here, this is 10 to the 0, 10 to the 1, 10 square, 10 cubed, right? So going this way, 10 to the negative 1, 10 to the negative 2, 10 to the negative 3, 10 to the negative 4, 10 to the negative 5. Similarly, here the base of the system is 2. So you have 2 to the 0, 2, 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the 4. And going this way, it will be 2 to the negative 1, 2 to the negative 2. The 1 by 4 is 2 to the negative 2, right? 2 to the negative 3, 2 to the negative 4, 2 to the negative 5. So I'm saying this because the mantissa is a fraction, and this is what we'll use for the mantissa. With going that way, 2 to the negative 1, 2 to the negative 2, 2 to the negative 3, that sort of thing. Is that understood? So mantis has a fraction. So if there are numbers here, you have to understand that this is the 2 to the negative 1 place, and the second one is 2 to the negative 2, 2 to the negative 3, 2 to the negative 4, so on and so forth to 2 to the negative n. Okay, that is how the computer stores the number, a real number. So there is a mantissa, there is a sign for the number, and there is a space for the exponent, which has to include space for the sign of the exponent. And I showed you one example in the previous slide. If you are keeping 8 digits aside to store the exponent, that will allow you to store exponents from negative 127 to positive 127. Okay. Now, the reason we are looking at all of this is because this gives rise to the problem of a round off error. It's not very significant in modern computers because we do use good amount of space so that this doesn't become an issue. But it is a good thing for you to know regarding how it is done. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll erase this. I think I just taught this in another class and I forgot to erase it. It's getting, I think, confusing for you. Repeat it. Okay, everything's okay. Okay, so with the way we are storing numbers in the computers, it imposes a limitation on what can be done. It's not there. There are not infinite possibilities, and I'll shed some light on it. Okay, so to understand the problem of limitations of floating point representation. Okay, this is called floating point representation because in the normalization process you are moving the dot around, right? The point, you're not fixing, you're not trying to save that point and everything. You're letting that decimal point to come to a certain place. You treat it as a floating one. Okay, so that is called, that's where the terminology comes from. We call it floating point number. Now see, in reality, in modern computers, we typically use you know 8 bytes or 16 bytes to store a floating point number. Okay, 8 bytes, each byte is 8 bits, so this is 64 bits, or this is 128 bits. Okay, so a lot of bits, they are used to store integer, to store floating point numbers. So the limitations are not very severe, but there is a limitation. But for you to understand the concept that there is going to be a limitation, I'll show you a hypothetical case where, let's say, generally, I'm telling you, in real ones, we use plenty of bits. So the problem will not be this severe, but just for the sake of illustration, to show where the problem may come from, we show what if we use only 7. So imagine a computer where the computer is only using 7 bits to store the real number. Okay, so from that 7 bits, you definitely have to leave one bit. You have to keep one bit for storing the sign of the number. Okay, and then here we can decide this. We have to keep one bit for the sign of the exponent. So 2 bits are gone. You're left with 5 bits. So to be fair, you'll use 2 bits for the magnitude of exponent and 3 bits for the magnitude of the mantissa. Okay, so I'll ask a question now. We'll see. See, if you look at this, how many possibilities do we have here? So each of them can have 1 or 2 values, 0 or 1. So this is 2, this is 2, 1, 2, 2, 2 possible. So each of them can be in 2 possible states, right? Excuse me. Okay, each of them can be in 2 possible states. So you'll see that if you do the math, you know the permutations and combinations, right? How many different states can this whole thing be in? If each of the bits can be in 2 states, each of them can take 2 possible values. Okay, as this whole thing, the whole memory location as a whole, how many different states can it take? Anyone? No, how many different possible arrangements of zeros and ones can you do in this one? Anyone? Anyone, please? No, that's not a difficult question, by the way. See, I'm asking you, see, this is a memory location, and each location can either be 0 or 1. Okay, and we have 7 bits, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so each of them can be either 0 or 1. So how many different possible arrangements, in how many different ways can you arrange zeros and ones in this piece of memory? Anyone?
Sir, 7 factorial ways.
No, because I think you're close, but that's not the answer. See here, this cannot take 7 different states, right? It can only take two states. This can take 2 states. This can take 2 states. 2 states, 2 possible states, 2 possible states. No, the answer you gave was for a different question. No, you could say, like Raviteja says, your answer is correct, my question was wrong. I did not answer. No, the answer you gave was for a different problem, where, if you have 7 items and you want to arrange in 7 locations.
7 factorial.
That's 7 factorial. So I think I did not ask the right question to you. The answer is okay, but in this it is a different one. Can you think of what the answer is here? Each of them have 2 different possibilities.
Sir, 7 factorial by 2 factorial.
No. I think actually it is 2 to the 7. 2 to the 7. Because because each of them independently can take whichever state, right? So no, these are like independent events. So this is 2, this is 2, 2. Anyway, so this is the number of things you have, which is 132. So now you already see the limitation. See, real numbers, they're infinite. But since you are storing digitally in a limited set, you're already limiting yourself to some finite number of possible numbers that you can store. Okay, from those finite set of possible numbers, okay, from those finite set of possible numbers, what is the smallest possible number? I'm asking you, what is the smallest positive number you can store? Smallest positive number. Okay, what is the smallest positive number you can store if you have a setup like this? Okay, so we start with here. So I said we're looking for a positive number. So that is 0, no problem. And these three are exponent. Okay, so you ask yourself, if you're going for a smallest number, should the exponent be positive or negative? No, you think of it, it's not too difficult. If you're trying to find a very small number, then the exponent should be positive or negative. Anyone? Okay, so I'll give you an example here. So 2.5 times 10 to the 2 negative 2 and 2.5 times 10 to the 1. Which one is smaller?
-2.
Yeah. So if you want to for a small, the mantissa is positive in both cases, but whichever has the negative one, that's smaller, right? So you want a negative exponent. I'll say 1 there. This is exponent. And what about the magnitude? Should it be largest or smallest? When you're trying to find the smallest positive number, should the value of the mantissa, no, exponent, should it be the maximum or minimum?
Maximum, sir.
Maximum. So you have 2 digits for the number. So the maximum you can do is 1 1. That's the maximum possible thing you can do with 2 digits. Okay. So this is sign. And what about mantissa? Mantissa has 3 digits. So we want smallest possible mantissa, right? This one. So what is the smallest possible mantissa you can do? I think to be more careful, I should have done 0.25. 0.25, let me say. Okay. No. Okay. Now, what is the smallest possible mantissa you can do? Anyone? Right? The answer is here because mantissa, by definition, by normalization, it has to start with 1. At least it cannot be less than that, right? Because if it is 0, then this is not mantissa. We have to take the decimal to wherever there is a non-decimal number. And the smallest possible one is 0. In this case, I think also it is 0. So this is, in this memory, when we store this number, that is the smallest possible number, smallest positive number you can store in this system. Okay. Now you ask yourself, what is this number in decimal? So this is exponent. You know that this is negative and this is 1 1. I told you, right? I think you can do this also. In decimal system, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay. So exponent is -3 and mantissa. For mantissa, you have this mantissa 1 0 0, and I told you this is 2 to the -1, 2 to the -2, 2 to the -3. Okay. So you have 1.5 and nothing. So this mantissa here comes down to 0.5. So the number in decimal system is mantissa times the base is 2, not 10. 2 raised to -3. And this is basically 0.5 divided by 8. You'll get it as 0.0625. Okay. So in this system, if you have 7 bits, this is the thing. You cannot have any number, you cannot store any number less than 0.625. 0.0625. Okay. Now the question is, what is the next number that you can save? Okay. So now we are looking at, again, I'm showing you the kind of a very bad case just for the sake of illustration. In the real ones, it will not be this bad, but there is a limitation. there is a limitation less than that number you cannot store in the computer. Now, going forward, if you want to say, okay, this is the smallest positive number that can be stored. Anything less than that we cannot store. That's called an underflow error. Okay, during the time of your computations, if you use this computer, if you get a number which is less than this, then the computer cannot handle it. That is called an underflow error. Now, so this is this, I said there are totally 2 to the 7 possible combinations. In all those combinations, this is the smallest positive integer. Okay, so I said this 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So now if I ask you, what is the next largest number? What is the next number in the series? Out of 2 to the 7, what is the next number which is more than this and positive? How do you get that? See, we'll keep the same exponent. And what do we do with the mantissa? We'll go to the next possible mantissa. The next possible mantissa is 101. And after that, it's going to be 0, same exponent, 110. And then next positive number that we can store here is 11, same. And this is the mantissa. Okay, so these are the four possible states of the mantissa part. Okay, so after this, if you want to get the next number, so mantissa, we have gone through all possible combinations of mantissa. Now we have to change the exponent. Okay, so see, we have gone to the least possible exponent here, 3. What is the next possible exponent? -2, right? So that comes out to be 0, 1, 2 is this, 1, 0. See, we started with the maximum magnitude mantissa, negative sign. Then next maximum mantissa, negative sign. And again, we'll reset the, exponent here. We reset the mantissa to the least possible mantissa again. And again, the same cycle repeats. You'll see for each of those cases. See, I told you the next number is going to, this is the first number. The next number is going to be this. And if you do the calculation like I have done, that number is this. And the number after that is this. And that number is this. The number after that is this. And that number is this. Now, you see the problem here, right? See, we can store this number. And we can store this number. Any number between these two, we cannot store. It has to be either rounded off or chopped off. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. In this system, you cannot store 0.75, for example, exactly. In this system, if you try to store 0.7, it will either be stored as 0.78 or 0.0625. I'm sorry, I think 0.075. Okay, it cannot be stored. See, there is a range of numbers between these two. There is a gap. Any number in that gap cannot be stored in this computer. Again, there is gap in between these two. There is gap in between these two. Okay, and that gap is, I think, 0.015 or something. It is same. The same gap is between these two. The same gap is there between these two. And the next number I told you, once you have run through all the numbers with this exponent, then you go to the next least exponent, next highest exponent with negative sign, and that comes out to be this. I told you, right? 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and then mantissa is reset to the original value. This is exponent, this is sign. Okay, that. Now that number is again this one, 0.125, which is 2 times that. And between these two also we have the same gap. So any number in that gaps, it cannot be stored in this computer if you have only 7 bits for storing the floating point number. So after that, again we go through, so with this new exponent, for all this first range of numbers, exponent is -3. Then you change the exponent to -2, And with that exponent, again, you repeated same mantissa. The same range of 4 mantissa. Okay, you repeated that again. And next one, if you want to keep going, if you want to keep going, again, the next mantissa is going to be, this is 0, this is 1. So 0, 1, 0, 1. This is -1 exponent. See, we did with the -3. First of all, the smallest with -3 exponent we have done, -2 exponent we have done, and -1 exponent. Again, you go through all the mantissa. And if you keep going, ultimately you'll be interested in what is the largest possible number. What is the largest possible number? Positive number. Okay, it's positive. And now you want positive exponent. So 0 and highest possible exponent 1, 1. So this is positive 3 exponent. Okay, and the number also you want it to be 1, 1, 1. Maximum possible mantissa. Okay, so this you already know. This is positive 3, and this you have to find out. Again, I'll tell you. No, this is 0.5 place. I think you must know this now. 0.5. That's 0.5 place, and this is 0.25 place, and the last one is 0.125 place. Okay, that times 2 to the 3 exponent, 2 to the positive 3. This is 8. Okay, 8 times half is 4. 8 times 1/4 is 2. 8 times 1/8 is 1. So this is 7. So in this number, you see that in this there, the largest number you can store is only 7. You cannot go anywhere. Anything above that you cannot store. Okay, that is the system. Again, I cannot stress this enough. In real computers, we don't work with this short, allocation for real numbers. The allocation is much larger. But to prove a point to you, to show that however large, it's not unlimited, right? There's going to be limitation. So that brings in this limitation. So now here's the thing I wanted you to understand. See, there are a few things you have to understand. The first thing is, there are a range of numbers. See, in this system, anything more than 7. See, this is 7 there. This is the number line, let's say, the thing that you studied in, I don't know, 5th class, 6th class, number line. Anything more than 7, with this setup, we cannot store. Okay, and similarly, this is called overflow area. See, this is overflow because you have only limited memory allocation in that. Okay, if you have, instead of this, if you have more bits, then the limit will be maybe 100,000, 200,000, but the fact is there is going to be a limit. Similarly, we have an underflow limit also here. These numbers cannot be stored. In our case, this is 0.60625. If you have a better memory assigned, if you have a better, larger memory you're using, then this will be much less than 0.0625, but it will not be 0. The point is, there is a limit to what is the smallest possible number you can store, and also there is a limit to what is the largest possible number you can store. The smallest possible positive number and largest possible positive number. And another implication is, this is more important, another implication is you can only store a finite number of values. See, and in reality, the real number is, you can, on a number line, any number you can imagine as a real number. But you just saw this, right? With this limited case, there's only some numbers, depending on, there's only the fixed number of states that this memory can be in. It's not infinite number of states, right? Only fixed number of states. So what happens is, there are only a very finite number of values that can be stored, and there are gaps. So in this gap, for example, the gap between 0.0625 and 0.078125, there is no possible state of Hello?
Hello, sir.
Okay, so how long have I been cut off? I didn't know, I didn't notice. When was I dropped off the class?
Just before 2 minutes, sir.
Okay. So not too long, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a difficult thing because anyway you don't speak at all. So I thought you were able to hear me. I was asking questions and all. Okay. I'll take attendance now. You please answer the attendance. So is 60 here today?
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Okay, I'll call the numbers. 60 is present. 64 absent.
Present, sir.
65?
Present, sir.
Okay, I got it. 64. Mohan. 65. 65. 65 is absent. 68. 68 is also absent, is it? Okay. 77.
77 present, sir.
78. 78 is absent. Okay. 80.
Present, sir.
82. 82. 85.
Present, sir. Sorry, 85 present, sir.
Okay, 85, I got it. Thank you. 88.
88 present, sir.
87.
Yes, sir. 87, yes, sir.
Okay, 87 is here. 88 is also here, right? 88, can you please answer the attendance again?
Sir, present, sir.
Okay, thank you. 89.
Present, sir.
91.
Present, sir. 91.
91 present, okay. 92.
Present, sir.
95.
Present, sir.